Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Trans India Real People, Real Emotions. In the last two episodes, we heard road safety activist Rama Shankar Pandey explaining how road accidents can be avoided and how people need to be more aware on road accidents. They need to believe in the science of road accidents. This week, we have another Ram who has taken up the battle against road accidents, especially those involving commercial vehicles. Ramratan Singhi. He has been in the road transport industry for over a decade now. Ram is the founder and CEO of Sure Cargo Control Private Limited. However, what sets Ram apart is his business choices. For starters, Ram has an exclusive fleet of only Bharat-Benz trucks. At the same time, he is also amongst the very few, a handful of transporters who take road safety very seriously. Initially, during his business days, Ram did have a few accidents. However, he took it upon himself to make sure that this number had to come down. Ram has taken some initiatives to bring down road accidents to good effect, and now he is taking it a step further. Ram is in the process of introducing some new trucks in his fleet. Once again, all Bharat-Benz. But what would set this fleet apart is that these trucks will come with advanced safety features which have been handpicked by Ram to bring down road accidents. So let's dive into our interaction with Ramratan Singhi and see what he has planned to bring down road accidents by introducing a fleet of trucks with advanced safety features. So Ram, for starters, you've been in the transport industry for over a decade, just over a decade now. What do you think are the pros and cons, and how's your experience been so far?
Hello Girish. First of all, thanks for having me again on TransTopics channel. And coming to your question, when it comes to pros and cons, I would say the last 10 years have been extremely exciting for us as a trucking company. And if I were to talk of the pros first, I would put it across like this is an industry that is extremely dynamic. It's like 24/7 active industry, and therefore it has a lot of excitement when you work in this industry. What really happens here is that within this industry, we are seeing the potential of this industry has really not been fully unleashed. To give you some numbers, Indian logistics industry is estimated to be a $300 billion sector. Within this $300 billion, with the next 5 years as per the projections, it's going to grow at between 8 to 10% compounded annual growth rate from here till 2030. So when you look at that, those kind of numbers, it definitely shows you the kind of headroom available for the companies who are in the sector to grow. But the con side, when it comes to some of the hard facts about this industry, is it's a very low margin or a very negative profit margin business, which leads to a scenario where when you go out for sourcing of investments from private equity funds or from the FDI, etc., it's not that easy to get that FDI. And one of the reasons, it's an industry that is quite fragmented. 85% of the industry is driven by people who own less than 10 trucks, and that's why it's very challenging to kind of consolidate and grow in this business.
Ram, transporters have always been working on a very wafer-thin margin. And on top of that, you have the risk of road accidents where, one accident can actually wipe out the profit of quite some time. How are you managing this aspect?
Right. So when we started trucking, we started with the thought process of focusing on safety as the core element of our operations. Having said that, in 2019, when we had about 100 trucks, we had 36 major accidents, which would equate to about 3 accidents every month. And each accident would set you back in terms of your costs by about 5 to 8 lakh rupees, in spite of having the insurance. Now, for us, it was quite difficult period because already the margins are not there. It's very low margin business, and on top of that, when you have losses, unexpected losses from accidents, it's difficult to survive. So we actually made a case in-house study where we said we segregated those statistics accidents into different types of accidents, and the two primary causes of accidents that we saw, one was the driver fatigue, second was the night driving or midnight driving. So something between 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. Maximum accidents used to happen during that period. So we started working on each of these parameters with the use of technology and with use of some change of policies in our own operations. And by 2023, I am glad to inform you that we have been able to reduce the number of major accidents to just 6 in a year in 2023. And now when we have a fleet of 165. So as a percentage, there has been a tremendous reduction in the accidents. But yeah, it has been with use of technology and some change of policies.
And now, just to elaborate a little bit on this, can you give us some examples of what actually you changed to bring down these accidents?
So in the non-express businesses, we started to ask our drivers not to drive between 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. specifically, and that has reduced the night accidents drastically. In express business, of course, you have to deliver within certain hours, and there you can't do that. What we have, of course, is the express business generally is taken care by double drivers. Therefore, one driver gets rest in the cabin while the other driver is driving. And one more change that we did, apart from other changes which I will tell you during the course of our interview, is to mandatorily buy AC cabin trucks since 2023. So in 2023, our entire new fleet that we bought is only with AC cabins, and this has worked quite well for us in terms of the driver fatigue side of the story. So even if you have double drivers, but even then the drivers can get tired, because he is on the road almost 20 hours of the day for express trucking if we talk. So from that perspective, AC cabin has been one change, but then there have been other technological interventions as well.
Ram, what was the reaction of the drivers when they got into AC cabins? What was the shift? I mean, were they happy about the whole thing?
Yeah, so the first few trucks that we got with AC cabins, there was apprehensions among the drivers saying that, we might feel sleepy because it's too comfortable for them. And at the same time, there were also certain drivers who were like, even if they had the AC cabin, in the beginning we saw they were not using the AC. They were more used to driving without AC. However, after sometime like 3 to 6 months period, when the drivers started to feel the benefits of the AC cabin, and they could see they are now able to drive 20% more per day with the same kind of effort, same kind of stress level that they were doing with non-AC cabins. And then it became like in our company a kind of a selection of vehicle where everybody wanted an AC cabin vehicle, and unfortunately what that led to is a scenario where our non-AC cabin vehicles got stranded for lack of drivers. So now in our company it's very clear that everybody first wants to come to take a truck. It will be an AC cabin truck. So as a fleet owner, I'm happy to report that this means that the driver shortage issue partly can be addressed if we give them comfort and a sense of safety.
And that's really a welcome change, I think. Ram, what do you think are the major reasons for road accidents, especially those involving trucks, since you've done a lot of study in this?
Right. So as I told you in the beginning that two major reasons were driver fatigue and the night driving, midnight driving. These were the majors, but then there are other causes, because an accident is caused not just because of the truck driver's fault. It can also be the other party involved in the accident. And here we have seen that a lot of accidents are to do with. I'll give some examples. Like there are trucks which are stranded on the roadside without switching on the dippers at night, and they are maybe breakdown trucks. And these trucks then collide with trucks which are oncoming. So that's one risk that is there. Similarly, there are other habits like people who are crossing, for example, bikers who often cross the road with a median in between. They come over the median suddenly in front of the truck, and that causes also accidents. The other reasons that we have figured out in our list are to do with the animals and bovines on the road. Now this is a very unique Indian problem, I would say. We don't see it globally so much. And part of this is I also saw in the last trip that I did from Delhi to Mumbai by road. that on the Delhi-Jaipur new expressway, there were cows on the road. I mean, can you imagine cows on an expressway? And then how do you expect the driver to control when he's allowed to drive on that expressway at a certain speed, and cars can drive up to 100 kilometers per hour. So this is the kind of environment that we are into. So while accidents can be reduced with technological interventions, but some of these things have to be done at the level of government or at the level of authorities. And pedestrian crossing is another issue. Tractors driving wrong side is another issue. So all of these combined together is what causes accidents.
So now moving from the human element to the trucks, what changes have you seen in trucks in the last few years? In terms of safety things getting installed in the trucks.
Right. I think the first change that began from the government side in terms of the regulations as well as in terms of nudging the industry towards safety was the mandate by the government to the OEMs to have company-fitted cabins. So if you look at the trucking industry back in 2013, most of the trucks used to be built by these roadside fabricators with those very low-quality cabins and hardly any safety element in that. But now, if you look at the new generation trucks, they are well built. Some of these trucks are crash-tested cabins, and they also have seat belt. Now government has made it mandatory for truck drivers as well. So these are the safety elements which have immediately caused a reduction in the deaths of the drivers due to accidents. Apart from that, I think the next mandate from the government, which is an indication that the government is again nudging the industry towards AC cabins. As we hear in the media, by 2025, it is said that trucks with AC cabin will become mandatory. So we have been already started since last 1 year to have only AC cabins. So I think that is another change, that is a positive change towards the safety. Apart from these two factors, there are other things which CMVR rules have made it mandatory, like the overall dimension of the trucks are now constrained and not you cannot build outside that dimension trucks, and that also improves the safety. And overloading has been controlled massively.
Yes.
It has such a, except in certain geographies, now overloading is almost non-existent. So I think that also has contributed to the safety. So overall, these are some of the things that government has done. Apart from this, the National Highway and the Expressway program that government has carried out, that also with the new expressways having those, side crest guards, all of that into all the new road building programs in the expressways particularly, that also has reduced accidents quite dramatically. So I think government's intervention has been quite positive, and you will see more of these benefits in the years to come as the expressway program gets more traction.
Right. And what about trucks specifically? Do you think trucks have got some additional features which actually help in reducing accidents? Besides just the cabin part?
The first part was the cabin part, and then of course government has also mandated a lot of features according to the CMVR in terms of the kind of headlights that the trucks will have, so that the oncoming light should not fall on the driver's eyes, and that also can be a cause of accident. So there are a lot of regulations there, and most critically I think also the government has done work on the side of the road engineering, which also again is a part of overall trucking industry's discussion with the government about how to reduce accidents. So within trucks, if you are specifically if we focus, I think the other factors that could add to this particular safety aspect is the in trailers, for example, there was no trailer code before, if you remember, many years ago. Now government has mandated the trailer codes. So those trailers also now need to have ABS brakes, and then need to have all the safety features. So each of these parameters in the design of a truck, they have helped us to reduce accidents.
Ram, one of the ways of getting business for a transporter is reverse auctions. What is your thought on reverse auctions, and do you think they are somewhere hampering the safety aspect also?
Absolutely, Girish, and you brought a very pressing topic of the industry today, which is these reverse auctions. We feel there are two kinds of reverse auctions, one which are genuine reverse auctions and one which are managed reverse auctions. Unfortunately, in the last 4 to 5 years, this tendency of the customers to procure trucks using reverse auctions has increased, and the competitive intensity has reached levels where you would struggle to justify the freight rates which are coming out of reverse auctions, even to operate a truck with zero EMI. Means if you assume that the truck is free of EMI and then you want to operate a truck on certain routes, those reverse auction rates will not even allow you to operate those trucks. So the very nature of reverse auctions is that the L1 gets maximum business. Now L1 means you are assumed to be lowest in cost. But if you look at trucking industry, whether it's a single truck owner or 1,000 truck owner, almost 85% of your truck, the operating cost is non-negotiable, and I'll explain to you how. So whether it's a single truck owner truck or 1,000 truck owner truck, if it is passing through a certain toll, the toll rates are same for everyone.
Right.
Similarly, when it comes to the trucks operating cost in terms of drivers, it is almost an industry standard. There is very little you can bargain or you can have an advantage if you're a large fleet owner. Similar to this, you can look at other costs like diesel is a major cost for most of fuel is the major cost for truckers. Fuel cost is again within the industry 5% band here or there is generally constant.
Right.
So these are all non-negotiable. You have to use fuel, you have to use tires, you have to use the drivers, you have to pay the toll. So what really gets left out is either you may be an EMI free truck, but in which case you have an old truck most likely, and then when you want to replenish your fleet, you will struggle because you haven't had the opportunity to recover part of your truck cost, which is the capital cost. Okay. And finally, when you look at all these parameters, the last thing then that gets left out is the cost of the safety. So how do you invest in any safety product or element of safety in the truck? Let's say if you want to invest in the video cameras to have a better control over the truck's safety, or a driver state monitoring system, any of these things, you need to have some budget for that. But these reverse auction rates don't leave you with any margin on those funds. So it's difficult to invest on safety at all.
We will continue our interaction with Ram after this very short break. You are watching Trans India, real people, real emotions.
भारत के सभी ट्रक ओनर और ट्रक ड्राइवर भाइयों के लिए खुशखबरी। किसी भी पेट्रोल पंप से 5000 का डीजल फिल करे और पाए ट्रांसपोर्ट मार्केट का 3 महीने का सब्सक्रिप्शन बिल्कुल फ्री। पर इस ऑफर को रिवाइज कैसे करूं? अरे बिल्कुल आसान है। किसी भी पेट्रोल पंप से 5000 का डीजल फिल करे और पेमेंट का स्क्रीनशॉट 9320061511 पर व्हाट्सएप करे। वेरिफिकेशन के लिए पेट्रोल पंप पर ट्रक नंबर के साथ आपकी सेल्फी निकाले और व्हाट्सएप करे। याद रखें, यह ऑफर मार्च 2024 तक ही वैलिड है, तो जल्दी करें, ऑफर मिस ना करें और इस वीडियो को सभी ट्रक मालिक एवं ड्राइवर भाइयों के साथ शेयर जरूर करें। अब आप अपने परिवार का ख्याल रखिए। ट्रक के लिए लोड की चिंता करने के लिए ट्रैकिंग ट्रांसपोर्ट मार्केट है ना।
स्कूल बच्चों का दूसरा घर होता है और इस घर का ख्याल रखना एक प्रिंसिपल के लिए आसान नहीं। पढ़ाई के साथ बच्चों का आराम, उनकी सेफ्टी, छोटी से छोटी चीज़ मेरी प्रायोरिटी है। वैसे ही स्कूल बस चुनना भी एक बहुत बड़ा डिसीजन था। पेरेंट्स का पीस ऑफ माइंड, मैनेजमेंट का भरोसा और बजट साथ लिए चलना पड़ता है। इसीलिए कभी कभी फर्म भी बनना पड़ता है। आखिर कोई अपने बच्चों की जिम्मेदारी मुझे दे रहा है, तो कोई बजट की। लेकिन इतने सालों में एक चीज समझ आई है, अगर सही डिसीजन लें तो सबसे ज्यादा प्यार भी प्रिंसिपल को ही मिलता है।
चुनिए महिंद्रा क्रूजियर स्कूल बसेस। यह है मजबूत ट्यूबुलर स्ट्रक्चर, एंटी लॉक ब्रेकिंग, एंटी रोल बार, पैराबोलिक सस्पेंशन, आईमैक्स, वाइडर सीट्स और बेस्ट इन क्लास माइलेज के साथ बच्चों के लिए सेफ और बाकी सब के लिए सबसे स्मार्ट चॉइस, महिंद्रा क्रूजियर स्कूल बस।
Welcome back to Trans India. Real people, real emotions. We are in conversation with Ramratan Singhi, the founder and CEO of Sure Cargo Control Private Limited. Going forward, Ram, you mentioned something about the driver involved theft and how companies are treating this as a virtual insurance. Can you elaborate on this?
Yeah, so Girish, when we were looking at the new contracts from either the e-commerce companies or from the express part load companies, there's a very interesting clause which has now started to come up in the contracts, and it says that in case of a theft, if it's a regular theft like hijacking of a truck, okay, and you do the FIR, get all the documents done, and with all those documents done, the insurance company should pass the claim, then it's fine. But in case the insurance company is not able to pass the claim, then we will recover from the fleet owner the entire amount of the theft. And this very clearly, the wording is, if it's a driver involved theft, then even the first part does not apply, only the second part applies, which means they are assuming that if it's a driver involved theft, then the fleet owner has to make good all the loss. Now, if you think about it like this, all the drivers that these companies are taking from us, these are BGV drivers, background verified drivers. We verify the drivers with the agencies empaneled by these companies. And within that, if there is a driver involved theft, then you must understand that this is like giving a virtual insurance to the company that, yeah, anything happens, the fleet owner has to be taking the responsibility. And the wording is very clear that we will stop all your payments, and after that also, if there is still recovery to be made, we will file a suit against you and will recover the entire amount. I think this makes it extremely difficult to operate for a business which has its risks as any business would have, and there is no insurance that you can take for this. Right. So indirectly, that's why I call this as a virtual insurance for the companies, for the customers who are using this clause explicitly.
But still, transporters blindly sign these contracts.
I think most large fleet owners definitely are on board with this idea. With the medium fleet owners also, because they have no choice. If the large ones have signed, the means everybody else in the industry just follows in the line. My submission here is that the fleet owners should take it up with the customers and discuss this in a more detailed way, because this is not going to even help them get more business or be more competitive. This is a risk we all as an industry face, but you cannot read mind of a driver. He was a good driver which was 7, 8, 9 years. Suddenly one day he meets some wrong people and commits, let's say, becomes involved in certain crime.
Circumstances may change, some problems, some issues may come up.
Absolutely. So we do understand from the customer side of the story that they want to avoid a scenario like this where a theft should not happen. But had it been so good and so easy, of course we would have also controlled it. All I'm saying is that insurance is for that purpose, right? Some incident which you can't control is why you take insurance. So why are they putting that on the fleet owners and not trying to recover it from the insurance companies? Absolutely. Then why do you pay the premium? If it was, if it was as simple as that. So I think this has just started in last 3-4 years, and it was not there, previously. So I would really want through your channel also, because you have such a large viewership, that this issue needs to be brought into the public domain.
Ram, having spent so much time in the industry and understanding trucks, you are now about to introduce some safety features in your trucks. Can you take us through these features?
Right. So as we discussed in 2019, when the number of accidents surged quite high, and we studied each parameters. So from 2021 we started working on the accident reduction plan, and for each parameter we discussed what technological interventions can help us. So the first thing was the forward collision detection. So we started working with Intel onboard services for getting the forward collision detection cameras, and we installed them on almost our entire fleet, and we saw an immediate reduction in accidents. So I think that forward collision detection is almost a must-have now in our trucks, and this is how we achieved drastic reduction in accidents. Besides that, the next step was to look at the driver fatigue, as in can we do something where the driver gets an alert if he is not fit to drive and he is tired, but he still continues to drive. So we started with driver state monitoring systems. Here we were helped by Daimler Bharat Benz, because we only operate Bharat Benz trucks. So in all the trucks that we have bought in 2023, they have this DSM as part of the OEM equipment, and that has done wonders for our operations, as now drivers themselves stop when they get the in-cabin alert, and that has also drastically reduced accidents. The third element of this is to do with the video telematics, which we have just started experimenting right now. So the video telematics is more like takes this whole thing to the next level, where you now don't only have the information that there was a potential accident risk, because there are clippings based on the AI that the system saves, and you can later on check this with the driver or show it to him that look, at this point in time, for example, you were looking at mobile phone and not looking in the front. These kind of interventions we have now started. So this is the next level that we are just taking the whole safety element to. And apart from this, we have worked on 2 more parameters of safety, which is again new, and it will be, I think, for the first time on our trucks, where you will see the features that reduce the element or the risk due to the operations of the truck. So for example, tire burst is one more cause on the expressways particularly that causes accidents and also causes the trucks to topple. Right. So we have started working with one company. It's a startup, and they've just developed a new product. So we're going to be experimenting with something known as TPMS, which is the tire pressure monitoring system. So once that is installed in the trucks, and again this will give in-cabin alert to the driver in case the tire pressure is not correct, or there is a tire which is quickly losing pressure, or the temperature of the tire is very high, it's about to get burst. So all of these in-cabin alerts will help driver to control and to stop well in time. And the final thing that we have done is again with the help of Mr. Ramashankar Pandey, who was on your show in the last few weeks. So we were actually working on this night driving issue, and when I was doing this Namaste India trips, I observed that at the night time, due to low visibility, the drivers have to take a lot of harsh braking, or many times they are not able to see the object in front of them. Right. So we added something known as a HELA LED bar. Now with this LED bar, it did wonders for our night driving trucks, the drivers who were on express logistics particularly, that they said, sir, that we are now able to see much ahead of our our vision is more clear at night, and our eyes are less strained, which means we can drive more. And also there was ever since we have put these HELA lights, there hasn't been major accidents. There have been minor ones in the night, but not a major accident. So I think this night vision light from a HELA LED bar is something that maybe government could look at making it mandatory if they really want to reduce accidents.
Right. And all this put together, how do you think this would impact road safety in the long run?
I think if you look at all these technological interventions, so as I said, any accident has got 2 parts. One is the part of the truck driver or the truck, and the other is the part of the other party. Now we can't control the other party as much as we want to, but on our side, whatever we can do, so we have reduced the overall accident rates from these interventions by 90%. At the same time, whatever accidents are happening also, the intensity of those accidents have reduced. So now these are from major accidents, these are more of minor accidents. Right. So that also has helped us a lot. So I believe that though the cost justification is still some time away, because we need to do a lot of investments in the beginning, but there is a case where if industry comes together, if customers start looking at these interventions as a way to have an unbroken supply chain. So when I say unbroken supply chain means, let's say you are a part load express company, and each of the truck that we operate for a part load company may have more than 300 to 500 customers materials. Right. Now one accident means 300 to 500 customers are waiting somewhere to get their material. You will start getting calls. Where is my material? How many calls can you handle? So if suppose there are 100 such incidents in a year, and if you work with all these safety features and you can bring it down to, let's say, 10, imagine the amount of customer service improvement and the value that you can create. And this is where we were in discussion with few of the companies about how this can help them achieve their goal of delivering safety to their customers. So there's a business case for this, but right now, to tell you honest and feedback from the industry, we are not getting the traction in terms of getting business based on safety. The conversation is something like this: this is very good, we want all of this, but please come in the reverse auctions and participate. So
this is not a selling point, really.
So there is still some distance to cover.
But Ram, going by the numbers you've given us, I mean, the reduction in accidents is tremendous. I mean, there's every reason why customers should also be pushing for this.
Right.
But Ram, from the cost point of view, how expensive is all this?
Okay, so see, I told you every accident sets us back as a fleet owner by 5 to 8 lakhs.
And that is just the pure truck cost, not the cost of the goods which you may have to pay.
Right. That is not in my this thing. That is for the customer, right? So I'm just talking about the loss of business, the loss of days. The truck is off track, and also every insurance company these days, they don't settle your insurance as in total. There will be some deductions,
right?
And then you have to look at the parameters that in case there is a human tragedy involved, then as a company, if there's a driver death, of course we have to pay, and if there's a third party, then the insurance company has to pay. Point is, when you do all this total, it is quite a big number.
Absolutely.
And therefore, when you look at the investment in safety, it's a relatively small number. Had there been a good, even mid-teen kind of margins, I would not have had to ask industry to do all this. We could have done it at our own cost. However, because we are talking of EBITDA margins of between 8 to 9% and actual margins of profit margins of between 1 to 2%, it's very difficult to drive this on your own. So definitely the cost element has to be shared with the customer. The customers have, as I said, the customers who are into part load business or e-commerce, they have to understand that the loss of deliveries due to an accident is actually multiple, not just the 1 or 2 days that you see, right? So from that perspective, I think there is a cost justification if you put all these things together, right? When you ask about the cost for our trucks, what is the capex that we have incurred on these safety measures? It would be approximately 1.5 lakh rupees per truck is the capex part. Okay. Then there is a certain opex part because everything has a data,
right,
and everything needs a data storage and also a software to analyze all of this. And that comes to about anywhere between, for different technologies, it comes to between 1,000 to 1,500 rupees a month.
But I'm considering that a truck is costing 40 lakhs, an investment of 1.5 lakh doesn't seem too much on the face of it.
Correct.
But tell me, how do you plan to recover this cost? Are your customers willing to pay?
So as I explained in one of your questions, customers are very happy to note that we have all these safety features, and they definitely want truck like these in their operations. But when it comes to cost, they are a little like, you please come in the reverse auctions and submit your quotation there, and based if you're L1, we will give you the business. So I think these two are not like aligning with each other. As a company, Sure Cargo has taken a call that though we will go with the process that the customer sets up, we will continue to invest in the safety, and we will do it for our own internal benefits, because the challenges of accidents are far too much to handle. What we see is that as industry gets to learn and see more of these kind of trucks in the market, I believe that they will also come on board and they will understand the benefits that a truck with all the safety features is better than something that is without these safety features. But right now, yes, you are right that it is still not driven by customers. It is driven by our own internal challenges.
But I'm seeing the vast benefits of this and what also the government has been doing. Do you think these fitments should come as an OEM fitment instead of transporters opting for it?
Yeah, but Girish, let's look at the industry as a whole. From the perspective of OEM. From the OEM's perspective, even today, for OEMs that offer the cowl chassis, a lot of their sale is still on cowl chassis.
Yes.
That is the very basic, at the level of safety. If you don't even have a company fitted cabin, then all these features become, even more difficult to sell. So I think OEMs at this point in time are dealing mainly with highly cost conscious transporters, traditional transporters, or they are dealing with very fragmented industry in terms of the buyer side, people with 1 to 5 trucks, 10 trucks, and there it's every 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 matters. And to tell them that you should invest in this is extremely difficult. So I think that OEMs will not like to take this as a standard fitment. Though some OEMs like Daimler, they have in their premium versions have made it mandatory, which is a good sign because that's the beginning. And over time, when the numbers look more good from the point of view of the reduction in accidents and savings from there on, then the industry will probably start thinking about it. But right now there is no mandate as such.
And I think, Ram, going by the data that you have given us, I think many transporters will also be inspired to go for these things.
Absolutely, you're right. In fact, as we speak about the video telematics and about the driver state monitoring and also the forward collision detection cameras, a lot of e-commerce companies, companies who are doing e-commerce logistics, for example, they've started to apply these technologies. And we see this now in a good number of trucks, and there's also a good number of other vendors for the same with similar technologies. That also is allowing the market to expand in the direction of having these safety features. But it is driven by the fleet owners, right, and not so much by the customer side.
Right. Finally, Ram, when do we see the launch of these trucks, and what segments and lanes will these be used on?
Yeah. So Sure Cargo Control has been in the industry for 10 years with the 30-foot multi-axle container trucks as the product type, and we have avoided coming into the 32-foot single axle trucks primarily because one, the freight or the yields were not very good, and a second reason was that it was a highly more intense competition than even the multi-axle segment, because it is like this that as your capital value of the truck drops, it becomes very easy for everybody to make those trucks. For example, if a truck is costing let's say 25 to 30 lakhs, there are a lot of people who can make those trucks. If the truck is costing 40 to 45 lakhs, there will be relatively small number of people making that truck. And if a truck is costing 70, 80 lakhs like Volvo, there will be even relatively small number of people getting into that business. So here we had a thought that we would want to enter 32-foot single axle with a differentiated product, with a USP. Otherwise, market is pretty well saturated and well, it's kind of well supplied. So we decided to first of all differentiate on the product, and we focused extensively on all the technologies that we just discussed to put it in one truck. So in our older fleet, we have some technologies in some truck, some in some other trucks, and some don't have these technologies. But in the new fleet, we thought we should combine all of these technologies together, put it in one truck, and then put this truck to the customers as a way to demonstrate that how a safe truck can overall create that unbroken supply chain and therefore enhance customer satisfaction. So we are at that level where we have placed an order with Bharat-Benz for 35 trucks. These are made to order trucks, because within Bharat-Benz, the single axle trucks, they didn't have an AC cabin as a standard fitment, so we had to get them made to order. The other thing that we have mandated this time is the use of Michelin tires. So the OEM itself is giving us Michelin tires, and that is another way to also enhance the overall safety of the truck, because better quality tires means you will have less chance of an accident. And then we are going to add all the video telematics and the TPMS and some other technologies inside the truck to ensure that these are the safest trucks on Indian roads. That's the vision that we are carrying forward. It's a very difficult vision, because as I said, if this truck meets with an accident, somebody will say that, this was supposed to be the safest truck on Indian road. How did it meet with an accident, right? So we have a very uphill task. But I'm taking that as a challenge, and we are as a company, we thought that we will launch these 35 trucks. Primarily, we will work with e-commerce and part load companies on ad hoc basis or one-side lane basis, not on the line haul basis. Okay. Because in the line haul, as I already said, they want us to go through those reverse auctions, right, where the freights are already not justified even for the normal trucks. You can't even put EMI in that particular calculation. Right. So giving a new truck is out of question. So this is where it is. And then we are talking to some high value shipment customers like electronics, for example, mobile phones, laptops, pharmaceuticals. These are high value shipments where we think a truck like this can be a game changer.
Absolutely, Ram, and we really hope that this will end up saving a lot more lives on the highways. Thank you so much, Ram.
Absolutely, Girish. And I have to invite you personally also for the launch of the truck. And I want you to, extensively do a coverage of that particular truck when it is launched.
Absolutely.
And you have to, therefore, then create this as a buzz in the industry. So everybody at least knows that these things are now available in India. It's all doable. We just need the, kind of a passion, mission and vision.
Thank you so much, Ram.
Thank you.
That was our interaction with Ramratan Singhi. He has clearly outlined the new features that he would be introducing in his fleet of trucks. All these features come bundled in one single truck, and Ram is aiming that this will enhance safety to the next level. We will be there to witness the launch of these trucks, and we will give you an insight into what these exclusive features are and how they work. At the same time, we hope that customers will encourage transporters to adopt these safety measures, which will not only benefit the transporter but also the customer. All that a customer has to do is pay a little extra freight. We will be back again next week with another interesting interaction, another interesting journey. So until next week, stay safe and drive safe. Jai Hind.